and to the Instagram account, at Bill Handel Show, because apparently something happened at the Bill Handel home that has never, ever happened before. And there is video evidence on Instagram and photographic evidence on Twitter. Take your pick. If you don't like your pictures moving, go to Twitter and look at the photo. If you like your pictures to move around a lot, and it's a talking too, by the way, go to Instagram at Bill Handel Show and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, this terrible story that we have been covering, where LAPD responded to the Burlington Coat Factory in North Hollywood. A guy was apparently attacking a woman. Shots were fired by the police, and one of those rounds penetrated a wall and went into a dressing room and killed a 14-year-old girl who was there trying on quinceanera dresses. So, as you might imagine, in the wake of that event, the debate about police tactics has bubbled up to the surface again. And one of the people who is extremely vocal about this situation is the brother of the woman who was killed in that Trader Joe's shooting, which was about, 3.5 years ago. A very bad man had killed some people and fled and ended up at Trader Joe's in Silver Lake and had a gun and was firing the gun and firing at police, and they shot back. And a woman who worked there, Melly Corrado, who worked at Trader Joe's, was killed. And so her brother, Albert, is back trying to bring attention to what he says is this major problem with the police pulling out their guns too easily, firing their guns too easily. And this is a debate that will probably never end. And I'll tell you why this debate will never end. This debate will never end because we will never, ever come to a place where police are not allowed to shoot their guns, ever. Or where police are so restricted in shooting their guns that an innocent person is never, ever killed again. I don't know if that's what Albert Corrado wants, or if he wants something not quite as extreme. I do know he's running against Mitch O'Farrell. He wants to unseat Mitch O'Farrell, and one of the main motivations is he wants to get some leverage to change police use of force policies. Because he's afraid that just as nothing really substantive happened after Melly Corrado was killed at the Trader Joe's, that nothing will happen after this 14-year-old girl has been killed. So the first thing is, this is so problematic because you have two different things going on, and one of them is relevant. Hey, could I make a quick request? People out there, when you guys are talking, it's super loud, and it's bleeding into the studio, and I'm not professional enough to not be distracted by it. If it is somebody who was better than me was behind the mic, it wouldn't matter. But it's just dumb me, so it's hard to keep a train of thought going. Thank you very much. Okay, sorry about that. So there's two things that happen, and one of them, everybody agrees is a problem. And that is when police violate their own training, their own departmental policies. And there have been any number of cases where that happens. And I'm not really aware, other than perhaps police unions, I'm not aware of any group of people who say, oh, even when a police officer violates their own rules, nothing should happen to them. And things do happen to them, although the problem there isn't really getting consensus. The problem is that most of those punishments are done secretly and privately because they're personnel matters. And unless it's a case that escalates to criminal charges, you're not going to know. And I guess the answer to that, to instill some public confidence that when police officers violate policies and shoot somebody, that they're punished, the problem is you have to change employee protection. So then you get into this question. It may seem all well and good that a police officer who messes up and gets fired or suspended or whatever happens, that we should know about it because they're a public employee and we should know. But would you want the world to know if you screw up at work and get fired? Would you want that to be a public thing? But that's one part of the issue. The other part of the issue is that a lot of these shootings, they are within policy, they are consistent with the training that police officers get, and I mean no disrespect to the victims, and it's not that I'm so 100% rah-rah cops can do no wrong. In cases like that, the officer didn't do anything wrong. The result is terrible and unintended, but the officer didn't mess up. There's no avenue to punish the officer. Here's what we can't have. We cannot have a system that starts punishing police officers who have done nothing wrong because we don't like the outcome of their actions. You can't have that. We're already having trouble retaining police officers. We have already seen that the number of people who actually support defunding police, getting rid of police, is very small. Because when faced with actually doing it, most cities, school districts, private entities, they don't. Because when you really are faced with not having any police, almost nobody wants that. I'm not saying nobody wants it. Almost nobody wants it, though. So this is going to be a problem, and I'll tell you that the real problem underneath this, when police officers are acting within their training and their policy and these things happen, the real problem is people creating dangerous and violent situations that police have to respond to. That's what's driving even what happened at this Burlington coat factory. So, yes, we can talk about altering rules of engagement and these sort of things, but that's going to just be nipping around the edges of the problem. The problem is that even in the best of times, it's still a violent society. And if you really think about there not being someone who's trained to respond and use a weapon to try to neutralize that violence, you're going to find you don't have the stomach for a world like that. Let's get a news update from Chris Little, and then we will continue talking about, Joe Manchin is being pilloried as a villain because he came out and he surprised Joe Biden and he said, I'm not going to vote for the Build Back Better thing, and he's ruined it. But do you know why he won't vote for this bill? You may think of him differently when I tell you. This is KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. A major Christmas weekend storm caused whiteout conditions and closed key highways amid blowing snow in mountains of Northern California and Nevada. Forecasters are now warning that travel in the Sierra Nevada could be difficult for several days. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is stepping up a series of investigations into multiple engine fires that have plagued Hyundai and Kia vehicles for more than 6 years. New York City's mandate requiring nearly all private sector businesses to ban unvaccinated employees from the workplace has gone into effect. We'll take a look to Drive on the 105 next.
Hey, Mario Lopez here, and I don't know about you, but I am stoked to get outdoors again, dining at restaurants, watching live music. It's so great to have it all back, but with privilege comes responsibility. Make sure you're doing your part to help reduce the spread of COVID-19. Getting tested is easy at COVID Clinic. Go to covidclinic.org to book an appointment at no cost to the patient. COVID Clinic has locations conveniently located all throughout the state. So visit covidclinic.org to find the closest one to you. Again, that is covidclinic.org.
Mucinex Extended Release Body Layer tablets allow for immediate and extended release, relieving chest congestion for 12 hours. Plus, Mucinex is eligible for any leftover HSA, FSA funds. Look for Mucinex, the #1 OTC brand doctors trust. Available at Target.
Out to the 105 and LAX with Jeff Bond, KFI in the sky.
You betcha, boy. A lot of ways to get to the airport now. Stay with me now. The westbound 105 from Downey all the way over towards LAX is all looking good. Now, when you go northbound through the tunnel, it's definitely on the slow side, that's for sure. But the North 405, that's okay. Coming up, actually, out of Orange County, it's still a good drive until you get to that point. The North 405 westbound Century off-ramp, it is jammed back onto the freeway. And finally, south coming out of the San Fernando Valley, all that is good, except for the Sepulveda, the 96th Street entrance. That's getting kind of slow as well. So be prepared when you get to the airport. So many crew and weather and COVID issues going on, a lot of flights. Get ready for that dreaded word, change. There's something's going to happen there, that's for sure. Now, we're headed for some problems on the 91 that we heard about, something around Alameda in between the 110 and the 710, and maybe something in Cherry as well. So we'll check that all out for you. But basically, things are looking good. LA, Orange, Inland, we're in pretty good shape. Injured in an accident, visit Super1, superlawyer.com. Just saw KFI in the sky.
This report is sponsored by Amtrak. Get back to visiting new and exciting places across the U.S. on Amtrak. It isn't just about the destination, it's about the journey. Without busy airports or cramped car rides. With no middle seats, extra legroom, and even private rooms. Book now at Amtrak.com. Adventurous journeys just an Amtrak away.
Dental Air Conditioning is contractor license number 1047781.
This is Ken Goodrich of Ghetto Air Conditioning and Plumbing. You've already heard the story of how my dad asked me to hold the flashlight for him at night while he worked on air conditioners. Dad knew he was dying, but I didn't. You know the story. Anyway, one of the things Dad would have me do is replace all the screws the previous repair guys left out when they reassembled the unit. My job was to find every missing screw and replace it with a brand new one. I still do that today, and so do all my guys. When motors are whirling and compressors are compressing and electrical contacts are doing their thing, those non-stop vibrations caused by missing screws will cause your system to die long before it's time. That's why we tighten your unit down to factory-fresh condition on every service call. My guys are perfectionists. No squeaks, rattles, or hums. And don't forget our awesome duct tester. Gettle. G-O-E-T-T-L. It'll keep you cool, but it's hard to spell. Call us.
Get here today for the Ford year-end sell-a-thon and get great holiday deals, like 0% for 60 months plus $2,500 bonus cash on the 2021 Ford Escape, Edge, Explorer, and a rugged Ford Ranger. And don't forget the 2021 Ford F-150. Get it with 0% for 60 months plus $2,500 bonus cash. Hurry, you don't want to miss the Ford year-end sell-a-thon.
Not all buyers qualify for Ford Credit 0% APR financing for 60 months and $1,667 per month for $1,000 finance. Example 0% down. Offers valid 12/23 through 1/3/22. See dealer for details.
Hey, it's Neil Saavedra. You know, new windows for your home bring light, beauty, of course, efficiency. I know this firsthand because the French doors and stunning kitchen windows from American Vision Windows brought some of the most dramatic and beautiful changes to our home. Now, we all know Bill and Kathleen's story. Horrible experience when they replaced their own windows. They started their own company. So fast forward 20 years, they're still bringing warmth, light, and beauty to homes like mine. Now, for a limited time, American Vision Windows will pay the tax plus 0 payments until 2023. Tax based on materials only, on purchase of 8 or more windows, cannot be combined with any other offers, on approved credit, and some restrictions apply. PSLB number 778326. I recommend them to friends and family and to you. Trust the window company that I trust and my family trusts. American Vision Windows. Give them a call. Get that free estimate today. 888-226-9908. That's 888-226-9908. Or for all their specials, visit AmericanVisionWindows.com.
If holiday music turns your joy all the way up to 10, then SiriusXM is your home for the holidays. From traditional and country to pop, soul, and so much more, SiriusXM has exclusive holiday channels dedicated to the music that makes your season bright. Listen in the car on the way to the party, or in the living room as you're wrapping presents. Visit SiriusXM.com/listenholiday for how to start listening.
You've heard the phrase, 1 in a million, right? What about 1 in 500? This is Leland Smith from Service Champion Plumbing, Heating, and AC, and it takes us about 500 candidates to find that one outstanding technician. When hiring, the first thing we do is make sure they're friendly. Then they have to pass a background check and a drug test. Next, we test for the right skills and work ethic. And finally, we put them through a rigorous 14-week training course. So what the Service Champions work. In the end, we go through about 500 candidates to find that one outstanding technician. So when you open your door to a friendly, smiling Service Champions technician, you know you're looking at the best of the best. Call Service Champions today to schedule an $88 furnished precision tune-up. Our number is 833-777-7777 or find us online at servicechampions.com.
As 2021 comes to a close,
Yes.
get ready to celebrate the year in music. We came here to have a good time at our 2022 iHeartRadio Music Awards.
Where the iHeartRadio app comes alive.
Coming back to Fox March 22nd.
Oh, man.
Live from Los Angeles.
iHeartRadio does their music awards a little bit differently.
Are you guys ready? Where your favorite artists will go home winners.
And the iHeartRadio Music Award goes to...
Thank you. Our 2022 iHeartRadio Music Awards.
Sideline the panic,
Sideline the this is nothing.
and just be sensible.
Figure out who in your life you think is going to be the most vulnerable.
Make sure that you have a hedge of protection around them for this thing.
Be careful,
Gary and Shannon.
and then go live your life.
Weekdays at 10 a.m. on KFI.
KFI Am 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Good morning, it's the Bill Handel Show. He's on vacation this week. Let's get into this. The big news in terms of politics and budgeting has been the Build Back Better Act and the fact that everybody needs Democratic Senator from West Virginia, Joe Manchin, to be on board or else they can't pass it. And then he was having these negotiations with President Biden, and then he made this big announcement, oh, there's no way I can vote for this bill. And he became the villain of the piece. Number one, because people characterized it as he was leading Joe Biden along and then pulled the rug out from under him at the last minute and leaving the administration to scramble to have to start over. So here's the thing, though. I don't think that that's fair. And I don't like Joe Manchin. I don't like him. And Joe Manchin is part of this political dynasty in West Virginia. The Manchin family has had people in prominent government positions for decades and decades. And I'll never forget when I was in college, because I lived in West Virginia for 6 years. Not my choice. And one day, my friend from high school, David Wiley, and I was home from college. He was home from college. And we were in downtown Charleston, West Virginia, at this slightly seedy hotel. But we were there because in the lobby of this hotel, there was a Dig Dug machine. The video game Dig Dug. This was back when video games were not in your house, and you had to generally go to an arcade or someplace that had machines. And they had a Dig Dug machine. So there we were. And we're playing Dig Dug. And then in the lobby, this guy, clearly drunk, in a bathrobe, comes walking through the lobby. And it was at that time, he was, not former, not one day to become, at the exact moment that he was walking with a bulbous, drunken nose, reeking of whiskey in his bathrobe, was the then Secretary of State of the state of West Virginia, A. James Manchin. All right, so to me, that will always be the Manchin dynasty, or like dudes who really have no business running anything, but they get to. So, and you know, Joe Manchin is like, I'm for the people of West Virginia and everything, and then he's tooling around in his Maserati. In any event, though, having made clear I'm no fan, so I'm not telling you this next information because I'm trying to rehabilitate the guy's reputation. Here's the fact, though. Joe Manchin's problem with the Build Back Better Act is that the Build Back Better Act is full of tons of programs that are only authorized for a couple of years. And then will either go away or have to be renewed again. And you don't know in 2 years what the economy's looking like, what the budget's looking like. You don't know. What Joe Manchin wants are a smaller number of programs permanently. And he even gave the Biden administration a version of this bill that did just that. Permanent pre-K, massive clean energy subsidies, a permanent increase in the health care subsidies under the Affordable Care Act. Permanent. And apparently the Biden administration is like, no. We want to do a whole bunch of stuff right now. But in 2 years it may have to all go away. So what's the point of that? Well, we want to do it all now. So here's, I think, the difference. I think that knowing this now, the Biden administration looks awfully, it's all politics. It's all, we want short-term political gain. So we can say, look what we did. We passed this act, and it has this for you, and this, and also this for you, plus this for you, and this for you, and these other things for you. And that we, of course, were dumb. And look at all the shiny objects. Not realizing that in a couple of years they may either go away or have to be renewed with this devastating effects on the budget deficit. Whereas Manchin is saying, here are three things that I think are pretty important looking long-term for everybody, and I want to do it, and this is permanent. These don't go away. You don't have to worry in 2 years whether you'll still get your health care premium subsidy or the free pre-K for your kid, or whether or not we'll have solar increasing because we put all this money into it. You won't have to worry about it going away. So now you step back and you go, wait, who's being reasonable and thinking long term, and who is just trying to score quick political points? And all of a sudden, it seems like that's flipped. Because Manchin was the villain, the guy holding out for political power. He's drunk with his own power. I even said that about him. But when we take a look at what's really happened with this particular bill, he seems like the reasonable guy. And, well, somebody else doesn't. Let's get a news update from Chris Little. And then there's a constitutional right. Usually we yell and scream because you have a constitutional right and the government takes it away from you. But what about a constitutional right that people just give up? On purpose, knowingly, willingly, they bargain away their constitutional rights. That's what I want to talk about next. This is KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
First, a cold and wet Christmas. Now, Southern California will get more of the same this week. More rain is predicted through New Year's Eve with a break on Tuesday, and there will be more snow in the mountains.
Some of the higher resort areas could have as much as 6 to 10 inches of snow when all is said and done.
Forecasters expect today's storm to drop as much as 1 inch of rain. News brought to you by Cunning Dental Group. USC says faculty and students are going to need to get the COVID-19 vaccine booster to attend in-person classes next semester. The university says the first week of class in January is going to be remote, and the booster shot will be required the next week. Officials say the decision is in response to the quickly spreading Omicron variant. Several international cruise ships have gone back to port after reporting positive COVID-19 tests on board.
A Holland America cruise ship forced to return to port in San Diego after being denied entry to Mexico after 21 crew members tested positive.
ABC's Rhiannon Alley says another cruise ship returned to port in Miami because of COVID infections. LA County is reporting nearly 8,900 new cases of COVID-19, while the number of COVID patients in county hospitals has gone over 900. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, we make it easy. Up to Jeff Baugh. KFI in the sky.
You betcha. Well, checking the 91, or a section of it anyway. This is the, well, they call it the Artesia Freeway from the 5 over to the 110, but still in 91. It's all clear. Don't you worry about it. There was a couple of shoulder problems that I noticed. They might have been the lanes around Alameda and actually on both sides. But again, it's a pretty good drive. Even the other side now from the 5 over towards Chino Hills up the Riverside Freeway, it's all looking good. Again, we had to look at that LAX. It's extremely busy. The airport itself, getting there from any freeway is in pretty good shape. And in case you had you were listening earlier and had to leave us, there was a problem. North 5, just past 605, just had a look at it. It's completely gone. All the shoulder activity all gone. Pretty good drive right up to the East LA interchange. A look at the 60 and the 10 coming up. Injured in an accident, visit superwoman, superlawyer.com. Jeff Baugh, KFI in the clear skies.
A good night's sleep is critical for a good day the next day. So let me suggest a Sleep Number 360 smart bed. I've been sleeping on one for 14 years. This is proven quality sleep, and it does make a difference. Sleep Number beds give you the great sleep you need, and you can customize, adjust each side of the bed to your ideal firmness, comfort, support. Well, that firmness level is your Sleep Number. Mine's 100. I like a firm mattress. And the New Year special is still going on. Save up to $1,000 on Sleep Number 360 Smart Bed, plus special financing, and this ends Monday, January 3rd. You'll only find these beds at Sleep Number stores or at sleepnumber.com. Subject to credit approval, minimum monthly payments required. Go to sleepnumber.com for details. 30 locations in Southern California, including Temecula, Chino Hills, Montclair, Porter Ranch, and Sleep Number is the official sleep and wellness partner of the Los Angeles Rams. SleepNumber.com.
Southern California weather, we have a chance of rain this morning, then rain this afternoon, highs in the mid to upper 50s, a little cooler in the valleys and the Inland Empire. We lead local, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Chris Little.
Living with someone who tested positive for COVID-19 in the past 5 days? Those 18 and over who are not vaccinated may be able to take part in a clinical trial for a possible medication to prevent COVID-19. This trial is not for a vaccine, and participation is voluntary. Participants will receive study-related care at no cost and may receive reimbursement for study-related time and travel. To learn more, call 844-461-1936. That's 844-461-1936. Sponsored by Merck.
1877 cars for kids. KARS cars for kids. 1877 cars for kids. Donate your car today. Donate online at carsforkids.com. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll get a vacation voucher and maximum tax deduction. 1877 cars for kids. Donate your car today. Hurry! It's your last chance to donate for 2021.
Contractor watches 1047-781.
Sometimes when I'm hanging out with my ghetto technicians, they tell me something I never expected. Really? Like what? Most of our guys used to work for small companies before they came to work for us.
I can't believe you didn't know that already.
Oh, I knew that. What I didn't know is that most of them were afraid of coming to work for a big company like Ghetto. They were afraid of becoming invisible, you know, like a cog in a machine.
I was afraid too.
So why did you come, Zach?
I came to Ghetto for the same reason as all them other guys.
I'm on pins and needles.
I came because you don't take shortcuts. Good technicians always want to work for someone who believes in doing things the right way, not the easy way.
I appreciate you saying that, Zach.
And we appreciate you giving us the time to do the job right, even after we've already quoted a price, and all them extra hours coming out of your pocket.
If I didn't do things the right way, my dad would slap me on the back of my head, and he was big.
And you ain't never made none of us feel invisible either.
COE-TTS.
We'll keep you cool, but it's hard to spell.
Beautiful home landscapes and residential turf lawns. Go to toughturtleturf.com.
There's red, blue, and then there's you. You're a free thinker and believe the best idea should win, no matter whose idea it is. KFI Am 640, we give you all the news you need in a variety of opinions. You make up your own mind. Beholden to no one. Live, local, and independent. KFI Am 640 is made for independent thinkers like you.
Yeah. AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Good morning. This is the Bill Handel Show. Bill Handel is on vacation this week. If you want to get a little peek